Summatives, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my big old pile of possibilities I've got over here. So typically I play a game to pick the books that I want to read for the coming month. But as you guys know, my mental health has taken a hit over the last month. So I didn't really feel like playing my game, and I have a lot of very exciting books on my TBR. So my purpose in creating this stack of possibilities, this MBR, if you will, is to kind of get my brain excited about reading. And I have a couple things to talk about, and you'll see that there is a recurring book on this list. But basically, I had a little bit of a meltdown with my PMDD, my PTSD, all that colliding and making my brain just refuse to acknowledge that anything exists. And in doing so, I neglected my TBR last month. I read what I wanted to read for my birthday, which is tomorrow. I don't know when you guys will see this, but it is here. I will be reading Rebel Witch. So I kind of just shifted things to suit my mood, to suit what my brain was willing to take in. In doing so, I read The Wedding People and I absolutely loved it. So I went seeking books just like it, or similar themes, similar vibes, that kind of thing. And so you'll see a lot of those come up here, and then just books that I'm absolutely excited to get to. So I have quite a few Aardvark books on here and Book of the Month books. You'll see that. But let's just go through them because I have a lot to talk about, because I don't know what I'm actually going to read in March, but this is the stack that I'm currently looking at for inspiration to read. Okay, so the first is an Aardvark book, and that would be Unromance by Erin Connor. It says a perfect homage to all the best rom-coms. We have a girl who is a romance writer and an actor, and the actor goes to our romance writer and says, "Ruin romance for me." And that's all I know about this. That's all I really want to know about this. But it sounds like it could be really fun and definitely a brain off, not needing to think too much about what's going on here. And I love this cover. It's so cute. It looks like they're in a diner. Adorable. Adorable. Next is one that I have been so excited to get for. It has been calling my name ever since it showed up on my doorstep, and that would be The Resurrectionist by A. Ray Dunlap. This is supposed to be gothic. I read the back of it whenever I showed it off the first time because I thought that it was amazing. It says, a dazzling debut novel of dark academia in the early 19th century, The Resurrectionist brings to life the deliciously macabre adventures of a young medical student lured into the illicit underworld of body snatching. Historical fiction, true crime, and romance intertwine in a harrowing tale of murder, greed, and the grisly origins of modern medicine. And that sounds amazing to me. We are going to be getting to the books that I was told were similar to The Wedding People. I've already read The Husbands, so that was one of them that was on the list. And this one came up. I don't know how it's going to be similar to The Wedding People, but it came up, and so I picked it up. It is not one I got from Book of the Month. I actually got it from the Buy Sell Trade, but that is One Star Romance by Laura Hankin. All I know about this is that he writes a 1-star review of her book, and then they meet. That's it. That's all I know. But I've heard there is some dark humor in this. A struggling writer is forced to walk down the aisle at her best friend's wedding with the man who gave her book a very public 1-star rating. So, could be fun. Sounds good. On my radar. Want to read it. See if it's good. And the next few are definitely the ones I found on lists of like The Wedding People. So, let's go ahead and talk through those. We have Cassandra in Reverse by Holly Small. That's the only name I can come up with for that. It says, if you had the power to change the past, would you? Cassandra Penelope Dankworth is a creature of habit. She likes what she likes, museums, jumpsuits, her boyfriend Will, and strongly dislikes what she doesn't. Must change her boss drinking out of her mug. Her life runs a pleasing, predictable order until now. She's been dumped, she's been fired. Her local cafe has run out of banana muffins. But I know that this is about an autistic woman just trying to come to terms with life turning upside down on her. So I am excited. And then we have The Unsinkable Greta James. Now I've heard a couple people talk about this, and everybody that I've heard talk about this has really enjoyed it. It's about this woman who, after a public breakdown, she tries to reconnect with her father on a week-long cruise. And I think this is after her mother has died. Yes. And they are just trying to get along. They are trying to grieve and have fun at the same time. So I think this will definitely hit the notes of the wedding people that I enjoyed and make my brain happy. Next on that list would be Hello Beautiful by Anne Napolitano. And this one says, can love make a broken person whole? It says, an exquisite homage to Louisa May Alcott's timeless classic Little Women. Hello Beautiful is a profoundly moving portrait of what is possible when we choose to love someone not in spite of who they are, but because of it. So that's all I really know. That's all I want to know. And that it was on a list, like I said, of books to read if you like the wedding people. So I picked it up and I really, really love this cover. And next we have The Knockout Queen by Rufi Thorpe. And this one says, a dazzling and darkly comedic novel of love, violence, and friendship in the California suburbs. Again, dark humor is the reason I picked up The Wedding People in the first place. And so I just wanted more. I wanted more, and that's all I know about this. It says, with storytelling as intoxicating as it is intelligent, Rufi Thorpe has created a tragic and unflinching portrait of identity, a fascinating examination of our struggles to exist in our bodies, and an excruciatingly beautiful story of two humans aching for connection. So it sounds good. It sounds really good. Would I have picked this up based on the cover? No. Absolutely not. And I'm starting to think that I need to check out Book of the Month's literary offerings, their contemporary fiction, because that all of those books that I just talked about could be found on Book of the Month's literary fiction. They've been offered, or contemporary fiction. And as you saw, some of them were even previous Book of the Month. I just didn't get them from Book of the Month. Okay, and on the same note of Book of the Month, we have A Sea of Unspoken Things by Adrienne Young. I love Adrienne Young. I'm very excited to read something else by her. I did try reading this last week, but my brain did not want to take in the slowness of this book. And when I say slow, it was not necessarily slow paced in its writing style. It was slow to get to the point. And my brain did not want to deal with that last week, so I had to set it down. But I am excited to go ahead and pick it back up. As you can see, I have The Unmaking of June Farrow right there. And I really loved Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. So definitely excited. Okay, sorry if we have shifted. I had a message from my Instacart shopper. I totally forgot that I put an Instacart order in. Okay, now the rest of this stack is going to be like a typical TBR that you would see from me. However, like I said, those hit my radar in a big way after reading The Wedding People. So most of the rest of this, you'll be like, okay, this is back to what Trinity normally reads. So Lightfall by Ed Crocker. Again, I was reading it last week and then my brain just turned off and said no. But I am so excited to get to this. It's vampires. I mean, urban fantasy. I'm excited. I'm so excited. An author that I have loved before, we have The Deep Sky by Yumi Kitasai. I just want to read this. I really have no other explanations. The last book I read from them was a heist, so that was a huge buzzword for me. This one is more about found family, getting lost in space, that kind of stuff. And I do love Lost in Space, like the show. So I am pretty excited to see what Yumi Kitasai does with a story like that. And yeah, pumped for this. And we have The Undermining of Twyla and Frank. I super loved The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy. And so I'm very much looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a silly, goofy, fun time. And that's what my brain needs right now. On that same note, I do have some books that are going to self-destruct soon. But I also have started a self-destructing books for 2025, and on that is Lake's Edge. Now, this is a gothic romance YA, so I am kind of looking forward to it, but also just kind of want to read it and see if I should keep it. Does it need to stay in my house on my list, or can I get rid of it? There are monsters in the world. There are monsters in the woods. There is a monster in the shadows, and now it knows my name. So that's what the back of it says. It intrigues me. I do still want to read it, so let's just add it to the list. The one that has been on every TBR of mine since January and is going to be added back to this list is because I really want to read it. But I keep putting it off this month because my brain fog set in and I didn't want to do anything. I barely wanted to read. But that is The Silver Blood Promise. I just need to read it. I need to read it. That's all I have to say about that because I've talked about it a lot recently. Now for 2 more vampire books. So thirsty. I recently purchased this. I was going to read it for Giante's Inferno. Things happened. I didn't, but I still want to go ahead and get to this because, I mean, it's short. I should be able to. And I think I'm going to love it. From what I've heard, I think I'm going to love it. If I don't, that's okay. I mean, it's hard for me to not like a vampire story, so on that same note, we have another aardvark book that is Hungerstone by Kat Dunn. This is a Carmilla retelling that I have been looking forward to ever since it hit my radar. I hope to get to it this month, but we shall see. We shall see. Now, the one I know I will probably start as soon as I finish Rebel Witch is Silent Sparrow. I love these books. They are so dark, they are so funny, and their romances are usually really good. I loved the first one, really liked the second one, and I'm hoping that I love the third one. But I've heard very good things so far. Very, very good things. I know a lot of my friends are giving it 4.5 stars, so that bodes well for me. I think it could be kind of hard to capture the true beauty that is Butcher and Blackbird because after 2 other books, it kind of seems a little redundant, but I think it's still going to be good. 2 more recent purchases for me that I am looking forward to. One is The Wren and the Holly Library by K.A. Lind. This is kind of gothic, kind of monster romance from what I understand. Can you love the dark when you know what it hides? There are legends in our world, tales of beasts and beauties, creatures, and stories that would keep you up at night, of monsters born. All of those stories you've heard come from a kernel of truth. Now, I did get the special edition when they were doing the hardback sale at Books A Million, so I've been looking forward to this for quite some time. So again, I hope to get to it in March. And then the other most anticipated book on my list that I have not yet read is Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. I love Grady Hendrix. I've read everything by Grady Hendrix except for We Sold Our Souls. And now I just want to read this one. I'm aware of the pregnancy stuff. I'm aware of the birthing scenes, aware of all of that stuff. So I am looking forward to this, but I'm also kind of like, is this going to be the one Grady Hendrix that I don't like? Who knows? Who knows? That is it for me. I know I talked a lot. I talked about a lot of books, but these are the ones that are currently hitting my radar. And I just don't know which one I'm going to pick right now. I might toss it to my Discord and say, hey, choose between these 3 because I have no idea what I want to read. But I do know I want to keep it on the lighter side. I do know I want some fantasy to make it into my reads. So we shall see. We shall see. I'm also very tired. If you can't tell, I am recovering. I am on the mend. My brain is getting back to a place where I feel happy again. And that's all we can hope for, right? Sometimes when you deal with mental health issues and you deal with things like PCOS and PMDD. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.